Hi guys, how everyone's doing? Y'all look very good. Okay, let's do. Okay, so today we're going to be doing. It's like a fun little activity. It's like a write a story with me, sentence by sentence, and these are really fun for me. I really enjoy these. So you guys are going to be helping me write this story. I'll start the first sentence, and then you guys will use the chat, and you'll put in what you think the next sentence should be. And we're just going to build on the story until we finish it, and then I'll read it to you. And usually these go by pretty fast, so we'll probably have time to do a couple. But it's really fun. It keeps you sharp. So, okay. I got my notebook. We're going to use. So does everyone understand? Yeah? Perfect. Okay. And you can write the story along with me if you want to, or I can write. Why does Jet have Blake Shelton in the background? Why not? He's pretty cool. Okay. So, let's start our first story with, okay, once upon a time, classic. Once upon a time, let's pick, there was, should it be a boy or a girl as our main character in this story? A boy, okay. First one was boy. Boy wins. Once upon a time, there was a boy who, let's see, how old should he be? 11. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad. And how many siblings does he have? 10. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, and his 10 siblings. Okay, so that's the first sentence. Once upon a time, there was a boy who lived, or no, once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and his 10 siblings. Wow, that is a big household. Okay, so who would like to do the next sentence? Grace, I saw your hand first. Okay, write what the next sentence is in the chat. I'll read it one more time so you can build on. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and his 10 siblings. What happens next? They lived in a small house in Chicago. Perfect. They lived in a small house in Chicago. Well, I hope their house isn't too small because, 11 kids. That's a lot. Okay. Who wants the next sentence? Jet, next sentence, go. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and his 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. You need to catch up. Okay, while he's figuring out his next sentence. what we're doing is we're writing a story sentence by sentence. So I came up with the first sentence, and we discovered there was a boy. He was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom, dad, and his 10 siblings. And then people will just put in the next sentence in the chat. We're using the chat so everyone doesn't talk over each other. And we're building a story, and it ends when it ends. You never know when it ends because it's like a fun improv game. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they lived in Chicago, but one day something crazy happened. Perfect. Okay. So they lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy. Normally pretty crazy because they lived in Chicago. But one day, something crazy happened. This is already getting interesting. Haha. Okay. So, Zachary, do you want to do the next sentence? Yes, okay, I'll read it. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they lived in Chicago, but one day something crazy happened. What happens next? These are so fun. They always get super crazy, and everyone has such great ideas. Ooh, they were robbed in the night. Let's see what Zachary comes up with. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. That is crazy. That's very crazy. Everyone agree? Okay. It was normally pretty crazy because they lived in Chicago, but one day something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals. And then they got out and flooded the city of Chicago. Has anyone been to Chicago? A few of you? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they live in Chicago, but one day something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. What happened next, Abigail? Haha, I'm choosing you. What's next? Penny, raise a hand. Penny, you will pick the next sentence after Abigail. A zoo. Zoo animals flooding the city. That sounds terrifying. The animals got into a nearby dance studio. I went to Chicago once because our plane landed there. We were going to Madison, Wisconsin, since my grandparents live there. That's so cool. I've never been to Chicago. What if we have everyone write in the comments what you think should happen next? Let's just have a free-for-all and we'll vote on it. It's gonna get crazy. I know you guys are gonna be wild already. They break into their house. The animals break into their house. Their house was invaded with animals and they all pooped everywhere. Okay, so an atomic bomb has been sent to blow their house. What? The family ran away, but the boy didn't notice that there was a stampede of animals outside. They all went to the makeup store jet. What? The animals or the family? Okay, so a few of you said they broke into their house and then they pooped everywhere. Okay, so something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. And then, what should we say? And then the animals broke into, and then some of the animals broke into their house. And some of the animals broke into their house and they pooped everywhere. Oh no, that's gross. It was an animal zombie apocalypse. And then Blake Shelton showed up, right? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they lived in Chicago. But one day, something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. Then some of the animals broke into their house, and they pooped everywhere. What? Why would they do that? That's so rude. Okay, what happens next? What happens next after they poop everywhere? And the boy noticed and grabbed his backpack of Operation Weird Situation items, which was full of snacks and weapons. He headed outside to face the animals. I love that. We are going to add that. Good job, Zachary. Okay. Then the boy noticed. I like how we're getting our main character back into action. The boy noticed and grabbed his backpack of Operation Weird Situation items. I love that. That's so unique. Then the boy noticed and grabbed his backpack of Operation Weird Situation. Items, right? Items. Which was full of snacks and weapons. That's so different, snacks and weapons. Is he gonna eat the snacks while he's fighting these animals? Or is he gonna lead the animals away with the snacks? What are the snacks for? And then he headed outside to face the animals. I guess he just left his family inside with the animals that pooped all over their floor. He's leaving his family to fend for themselves. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they lived in Chicago. But one day, something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. Then some of the animals broke into their house, and they pooped everywhere. Then the boy noticed and grabbed his backpack of Operation Weird Situation items, which is full of snacks and weapons, and then he headed outside to face the animals. What happens next? They trampled the boy, and the boy went to the hospital. But that ends our adventure of the boy going outside to face the animals. This exercise is fun because it gets you to think of what are some ways, what are some situations I can get to get this boy to, like, they broke the bunker. There's a bunker. All of you want him to get trampled, but he's our main character. If he dies, then the story ends. You don't say no in improv. You always say yes. Keep the story going. No trampling him. What happens next? The animals stampede the boy's sister dance studio. He yelled as loud as he could and said, "Animals of Chicago Zoo, we are here to help you too. Visitors who visit the zoo will visit you all the time. You will have snacks and everything." That's good. What do you guys think of that? He doesn't use his weapons. He uses his words. This boy is smart. Okay. He yelled as loud as he could. He yelled as loud as he could. Animals of Chicago Zoo. Animals of Chicago Zoo. We are here. This is like a fun little rhyme. Next page, we're already a page in. We are, did I write here? Yes, we are here to help you too. Visitors who visit the zoo, visitors who visit the zoo will visit you all the time. I love that. Visit you all the time. You will have snacks. Everyone wants snacks. You will have snacks and everything. Okay, so it looks like the boy is a very nice hero. He didn't kill the animals and he didn't die from being trampled. He used his words instead of fighting them. What happens next, you guys? Come on, I want to hear from people who haven't written anything yet. Everyone should participate. It's going to be so fun. They went to the airport to try to fly away, but a huge giraffe bit the plane from the sky, and they were forced to run. That is hectic. Wow. The words seem to make a difference, but they continue to wreak havoc. That's good, because that means he has to come up with another way, so that keeps it going. The animals had a dance studio built in the zoo. You really want a dance studio in there. They went to the airport to try to fly away, but a huge giraffe bit the plane. Jet, you really want that giraffe to bite the plane. Okay, hang on. We're going to add, there was one up there. We're going to say the words seem to make a difference, but they continued to wreak havoc. And then we'll say the family went to leave the state, but a giraffe bit the airplane. Does that work? Yeah? Okay. So, the words seem to make a difference. The words seem to make a difference, but they continue to wreak havoc. So maybe they were affected by it. Did it make them more angry, or did it make them more understanding? It made them more angry, because why else would they continue to wreak havoc, right? So the words made them angry, and they continued to wreak havoc. Man, they just don't want peace. To wreak havoc. And then they went to the airport. Then the family went to the airport to try to fly away. But a huge giraffe bit the plane. So if the giraffe bit the plane, did the plane crash? Or did they end up getting away successfully? Just the plane had problems. Which one? They crashed? Yeah, okay. But they bit the plane, and then they crashed. What happens after they crash? Can you read the story real quick? Yes, we'll go from the beginning. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they lived in Chicago. But one day, something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. Then some of the animals broke into their house and they pooped everywhere. Then the boy noticed and grabbed his backpack of Operation Weird Situation items, which was full of snacks and weapons. And then he headed outside to face the animals. He yelled as loud as he could, "Animals of Chicago Zoo, we are here to help you too. Visitors who visit the zoo will visit you all the time. You will have snacks and everything." The words made them angry, and they continued to wreak havoc. Then the family went to the airport to try to fly away, but a huge giraffe bit the plane, and then they crashed. What happens next? Plot twist, they find out they were actually robots. Ooh. The parents ditched their 11 kids. That's so sad. I don't think they should do that. They go to the hospital. I like the robots. Actually, robots sent by Kentucky to smash Chicago. Perfect. Okay. Then they discover, let's say that, then they discover that the animals were robots. Sent by Kentucky. Why does Kentucky hate Chicago? Sent by Kentucky to smash Chicago. Ah, heartbreaking. Okay, so after they discover this, what happens? We have 6 minutes, so let's try to come up with an ending. Is it going to be a happy ending, or is it going to be a sad ending? They go to the hospital. Can it be a cliffhanger? Ooh, that's good. No? Why don't you want it to be a cliffhanger? They go to the hospital and die. Aw. That's... That's sad. So you guys want them to die so the story feels complete? Is that what you're saying? Does everyone agree on that? No? No? Okay. So they're not going to die. Yeah, Zachary is coming up with all these great ideas. Zachary, you should write your own screenplay. Write your own scripts. Penny, I'm sorry, but they don't want him to die. So I think a cliffhanger is a good idea. So what if they go to the hospital and the animals, the robot animals, try to turn them into robots to make their army bigger. And then it's a robot apocalypse because it wasn't just happening in Chicago. It was happening everywhere. And the world was doomed because everything was run by robots. Yeah? Okay. So, and that's your cliffhanger because no one wants, it's like, what happened? What happened? What happened to the world? Okay. The animals were robots sent by Kentucky to smash Chicago. After time had passed, these robot animals had turned everyone else into robots. I'm writing a novel. Wish me luck. Good luck. What type of novel? That's so cool. Okay. After time had passed, these robot animals had turned everyone else into robots, leading to an apocalypse. That may or may not have destroyed Earth. What do you guys think? You want to hear it? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was 11 years old, and he lived with his mom and dad and 10 siblings. They lived in a small house in Chicago. It was normally pretty crazy because, well, they lived in Chicago. But one day, something crazy happened. The Chicago Zoo had a delivery for a bunch of animals, and then they got out of the zoo and flooded the city of Chicago. Then, some of the animals broke into their house and they pooped everywhere. Then the boy noticed and grabbed his backpack of Operation Weird Situation items, which was full of snacks and weapons, and then he headed outside to face the animals. He yelled as loud as he could, "Animals of Chicago Zoo, we are here to help you too. Visitors who visit the zoo will visit you all the time. You will have snacks and everything." The words made them angry, and they continued to wreak havoc. Then the family went to the airport to try to fly away, but a huge giraffe bit the plane, and then they crashed. Then they discovered the animals were robots sent by Kentucky to smash Chicago. After time had passed, these robot animals had turned everyone into robots, leading to an apocalypse that may or may not have destroyed Earth. Wow. All that in 2 pages? That's crazy. Oh, you guys just want everyone to die. I like this. They didn't die, they were turned into robots. So this is fun. You can do by yourself too, especially for improv, because it like gets your brain to think about different ideas and how you can keep it going instead of saying no and ending it. I like doing this a lot. I hope you guys had fun. had a lot of fun. Jordyn, I'm writing a modern Romeo and Juliet. Ooh, I love that. That's awesome. Is it a novel or like a screenwrite? A novel, right? That's so cool. I think everyone should write their own little novel or screenwrite or write something to get your creative juices flowing. Cool. Does anyone think that they're gonna do this by themselves in the future? Yeah? Oh, cool. Yeah, I love doing this. It's so helpful. Especially when you're stuck. And you can use it when you're writing too, Grace. When you're writing your book, just sit there and come up with a bunch of random stuff, even if they're like not great ideas, because it gets you thinking until you do come up with that amazing idea. So yeah. Your hand hurts from writing. I wrote very messy, but hey, we got our story right. What about the hospital? How about this? Everyone else that wasn't that family went to the hospital before they were turned into robots. Ha, you get what you want. Yay. But then Blake Shelton saved everyone, thanks to Jet. Okay. I think okay, I think that's it. I hope you guys continue to use this and do this. Even if you're not using it for anything, it's fun to do when you're bored. Especially since everyone's home, might as well. Jessica, are you there? See if she's there. Jessica. Okay, we'll wait for her to come on. So, what else do you guys think could have happened? Just for fun. If we hadn't come up with zoo animals, how do you think the story would have gone? Dance robots. Ooh, they were dancing robots. I like that. The end of the world. They all go to a dance studio to relax. So the robots, the dancing robots, were professionals, so they didn't need to train, so they didn't have to go to a dance studio. So you guys were smart and you went to a dance studio to relax because you knew they wouldn't go there. But then a disease spread from these robot dancing animals. They all died. Tragic. Oh no. You guys are great. I am going to take this, work it out. I'm going to add it to all the other ones I've done this week. I have a pile because I got bored. You guys should start a pile of all your notes and all your like scenes and activities you've done and just look at it like at the end of the month and then see what you did and see which one was your favorite, because then you get a feel of like what you like and what you don't like, what you did good at, what you could have improved on. I like doing that. I think it helps a lot. So. Your grilled cheese was trash. I'm sorry. Okay, put that right there. I wonder if Jessica thinks this class goes to 1:45. Fine by me. You know what's fun to do too is characters. Making up your own characters that you can use for improv. That's really fun. So let's say we have a girl character. A girl character. What's her name? What's her name? Jess. Jess Summer. Jess Summer. Girl character named Jess Summer. How old is she? 13. 13 years old. She plays alto sax and band. She plays alto sax and band. What does she think about other people? Does she like other people? Does she have a big ego? Does she think she's better than other people? She has a big family. And she's antisocial. I like that. And she's antisocial. So we just came up with a basic character description. You can do this all the time. It's kind of nice because if you come up with these when you're in class, like an improv class, and you get up there and you have to come up with a character really quick, you can just pull something out of your pocket that you already came up with. So a girl named Jess Summers, she's 13 years old. She plays alto sax and band. She has a big family, but she's antisocial. So Zachary just described me. Yeah, so these go hand in hand. Your characters, your story. Plus, it's just fun. It's fun. Fun to be creative. It's also fun if it doesn't work. Like, if it's terrible. Jet. Yes, she is determined on the dance studio. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, everyone come up with their own character in the chat. You need a name, an age, an age, if they're shy, if they're an introvert or an extrovert, what their family's like. Come up with your own character, and I want to read them for fun, just really fast. Just everyone write down one in the chat. And what their favorite hobby is. That one's fun, because if you use a character in an improv, you can always talk about your hobby. Here, I'll come up with one too in the chat. Julia Chambers is a sophomore in high school. And she's a runner and band kid. I like that. Tony, 16, funny actor, has a huge ego. Classic. That's a classic Jet. There's always one that's an actor who has a huge ego. Summer 12, two sisters, middle child, loves dance. Seafish is a mermaid underwater. Will, age 10, expert, wants to be a historian when he grows up. Family is like home to him because everyone at school is mean to him. Just started high school at age 7. He started high school at age 7, so he's a genius. Alyssa Jones is a 10-year-old in 5th grade and is a band student and an actor. I got Julia for my novel. Is that cheating? No. Not at all. These are good, you guys. Is anyone having any difficulty coming up with these things? Or is it pretty easy for you guys? Is it pretty easy? Yeah? Perfect. When I'm in class, I like to overthink things. I like to convince myself that it's a lot harder than it should be. I don't know why I do that. I'm trying to get over that. But this helps a lot because it forces me to get out of my head and just come up with something, even if it's terrible, because it probably won't be terrible. So it's fun. People finish college at 10? How? It's like genius level. I wish I was that smart. You're done with college then? Yeah? I'm just looking back on all the things you guys said. You have some really good ideas, you guys. This is great. Keep up with this. Don't lose that creative way of thinking. You guys are so goofy too. Such good ideas. I love all of them. Okay, I'm going to take out this paper too, my character paper. I'm gonna add it to the story. So the character that you came up with, do you think that they would fit in the story we made? Would they be the boy's sibling? Would they be a stranger? Would they be a neighbor? A friend? Yeah. So it's fun because you can write your character and you can write a basic outline for your story, and then you can add your characters to the story and add more details and add more depth. Maybe probably cousin, girlfriend. Yeah, those are all great ideas. Any relationship. Enemy, bully, cheerleader, dancer. A crush, that's good too. These are all good ideas. It's super easy to write something when you come up with your characters and you just throw out a story idea. A neighbor. A brother. Okay. Jessica, are you there? Ex-fiance. I do not know where Jessica went. Jessica's mic is off. Yeah. I can unmute her. Maybe. Does she leave? I don't know. You guys are funny. Okay. I do have her number. I can text her and ask if she wants to say anything before we end. Let me just find her in my text. Okay, I just texted her. Asked her if there's anything she wants to say to you guys. So what if your goal isn't theater, but it's Broadway? Maybe start out in theater? They kick me out because I can't sing. What if it's musical theater and not television and film? Musical theater. I've always been interested in more film than like musical theater or theater in general. I imagine you'd have to know how to sing, especially for Broadway. But you also have to be passionate about it if you want to do it, you know? Would they kick me out? Jet, you'd have to be in it before you could get kicked out. Who knows? Maybe your buddy Blake Shelton can help you. Yeah. Okay. I don't think there's anything that she really wants to to say, so are you guys registered for any of the other free online classes? Yeah, which ones? Ballet and makeup. The makeup is gonna be fun. It's just us gonna be hanging out, learning how to do a smoky eye. I am not perfect at makeup, but I have picked up some tricks here and there. It's gonna be fun. Sorry, but I have to pass. Well, Jet, even if you don't want to do your makeup, you can just hang out. Your eyeliner is so good. Oh, thank you. It's actually eyeshadow. I can't stand eyeliner because I can never get it off. And if I mess up, it eyeshadow is where it's at. Well, if I'm wrong. Eyeshadow you can blend if it ends up looking messy. So, okay. Well, Jessica hasn't responded. So, thank you guys for joining the class. I hope you had fun and you do this on your own. It is really helpful if you want to do this or if you just have nothing better to do. Yeah. Good tips for novels. Yes, good luck with your novel. That's so great. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Go sit out in your backyard and write something. Write something. Even if it's journaling, just write. Okay. Bye, guys.